All right. So, um, I keep hearing these people saying they rape you, and it has become only thing they can say because at this point they understand that I know they're just trying to play with my brain to accept these pedophilia things they do to me, and so they are more vocal in regard. Oh, they're gonna do this. You're gonna cry because they're gonna rape you because they're gonna torture you, and I'm like, I understand you have nothing else to say. I understand that this is not something you say to me just to make me feel aware of what's going to happen, but to block out the reality because you are obviously doing some manipulation of my thoughts, and it's very pedophilia centric. There's something that just happened a few minutes ago, and it's funny. I kind of caught on onto it like kind of early, but I think the way they wanted me to think about it, it was different, and now because I'm so aware of their ability to do things right. I kind of like understand you're just trying to trick me to kind of get my guard off and start letting this perception the way they want me to perceive things. There's this profile. I'm looking at this Bumble profile, right? This woman has a profile picture, and there's one Polaroid picture, which to me looks like a kid. It looks like her when she's a child. I would give her like maybe a 12-year-old her. That's what I thought I saw. That's what I believe I saw. And immediately they start doing whatever they did to me. Whatever they do to me, which is some kind of stimulation of some fashion. This is what I expect every time there's a child. They're going to do that. But then they did something kind of different. They start making me feel doubtful about her being a child. In my mind start going into like, maybe it's the lightning, the lighting on the picture, and is the way is the lighting is hitting the face, uh and she looked like she's drinking some kind of tea thing, and it's like the stuff making me have a thoughts like maybe like she's that'll be too young for somebody to drink tea that fashion. Her hair, she has color hair a little bit, like it looks like maybe it's the picture, and I'm like, this start making me doubtful. Now, like, this picture, she looks very much like a kid. Like, and they start make me look at the picture in a different way. But I think they were trying to do, what they trying to make me do, is just to start seeing her as not a child, and so they can create the perception they want me, and me let that happen. Because what happened is, when they do the perception, the manipulation toward adults, I'm not gonna be like I'm not gonna care much about it, right? But when they do it toward children, I'm gonna try to combat this, even though I can't do nothing about it. It's just like I'm not gonna accept these things. Right? It's not gonna happen. And so they were trying to get this thing where they have me have this back and forth, right, in my mind. Try to get this like mental torture of some sort. And so on sort. And this is what they do. And so they wanted me to start looking at this person, which I strongly still believe it's a kid. I'm not even a kid, but like a preteen kid. Like I'll give her maybe 13 in this picture, max, at least. Now, that's what I'm gonna stick with. It's just that picture looks too much like a child being that picture, to me, and I'm gonna stick with that. And they want me to do this back and forth, but she looks like a kid in this picture, and I believe that's a child in the picture. It's her as a child. And the reason why they want me to have this back and forth is because they want to start making me perceiving her in the different ways, so they can do this manipulation. This is the type of trick they like to play with. And from the get-go, I was like, no, to me, this looks like a child. To me, this looks like a child. There's no way. Like, I'm trying to look as like this is a child. They try to force me to like imagine the different ways, like that could not be a child. Like, this is a child. Forcing me to have this mental back and forth. They're the one pushing the other side. Because I initially see her as a child in this picture. They try to push me and giving me ways to think that maybe it's not a child. The light and everything, the hair color, what she's drinking, like they try to do this back and forth. This is the mental torture they do. So at the end, because most likely it's a child, most likely I still believe it's if I had to pay money, if I had bet money, I'll go with her being like a child. Because at the end of the day, this most likely is her when she's a child. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think, and that's at least why I see her in this picture. And they probably wanted me to imagine her as not a child and then start imagining it sexually. But that picture, to me, in this picture, she looks like a child, right? And I'm saying that because they want me to have this back and forth, and these people, there's no rationality. They don't use rationality as a way to make their points. It's all about irrationality. They have no shame to be irrational. There's no they let go of rationality, right? Their response to things now is like, you're gonna get raped, or they rape you. This is the risk. That's how they rationalize things. Oh, you're gonna get raped. Because I'm like, you do the pedophilia type of torture, you manipulate people's brain, you manipulate the way. It's like, no, they rape you. This is literally what they would say. So that this is how crazy this shit is. And they will make noise campaign. You hear this woman coming in. It's like, this is for our children. Yeah, I hear somebody from outside yelling from like the loudest she can. Look, they're waiting for you. Then it's like, she's not saying anything but just basically like, be scared because you should subscribe to this manipulation. And I'm like, no, this is not even. This is obviously you guys try to manipulate me to think otherwise, so you can do this manipulation and start looking at this person who looks like a child in this picture, and start making me imagine them in a sexual way. Of course, they started doing that immediately. Out of all the pictures, that's the only picture that starts stimulating me in this way. This is the things they do. And then you hear this trash from next door saying something, oh, black kids. Trash. There is nothing I can, I'll never subscribe to them, because it's obvious they've done, and they're doing the pedophilia type of torture. They are very systematic. They do the pedophilia things. They force you to have this pedophilia type of ways of thinking. Right now in my brain, they try to create another perception in a different ways, try to make me think maybe when you're a kid, like it's any ways possible to create a format and formulate a way for me to look at this picture in a sexual way. It's sad. At one point, they're like, "Do you think this is pretty?" It's like, yeah, like a child, like a kid, pretty. And they try to create these different ways. It was so disgusting. They have no shame in regard of pushing you to look at a child in a sexual way. They want you to look at it in a sexual way. That is their assignment. That is their job. This is what they're living for right now. This is their assignment. This is their job. They come in the office. This is what they do. This is what they're trying to do. And then when you obviously manipulating me. You obviously don't do the pedophilia type of torture. You are renowned to be doing the pedophilia type of torture. You're going to get raped. They'll rape you. They're all of that. Try to block out. Disorient you and make you think about this torture. Because they want you to accept these pedophilia things. And forget, no, they're not manipulating you. This back and forth in your brain is just happening normally. We don't control your brain. We won't mental torture you. We won't do this sawing, the back and forth. We won't do that. It's you. Oh, now you have doubt. You don't see her. Can you? And you know it's them. Because me, if I had to put money, looking at this kid, I said that immediately. It's like, this person looks like a kid in this picture. And they start giving me doubts. And I put it in the folder, and I took a screenshot of that immediately. I'm like, put the folder, resemble a child, then I get stimulation. That's why I put it. And then I'm looking more and more. It's like, this is a child. No, this is a child. No, there's no way this is not a child. I'm looking more. It's like, there's no way. Like, why is they back and forth? This is a child. So, and then like, oh, you see, and they try to say, oh, it's war. We're just trying to, no, it's not war. This is what exactly I was saying. I am a subject in this program that is manipulating people, experimenting on people, and forcing people to have these different thoughts, to break them down and see the result of that. This is what they do. I gotta be strong enough to understand. They're gonna trick my brain to think in any ways possible. They try to trick me to have thought of this person to be not a child when she looks like a child. Listen, I don't have confirmation, right? But to me, as a normal person, if I was me, I would look at her, oh, that's most likely a picture of her when she's a child. That's what that picture looks like. So from this point, I will perceive this picture as a child. Now, they're trying to change those perception and create a perception of me thinking about her. Maybe that's not a child. Maybe it's just the way the picture takes. She took the picture, the lighting and everything. I was like, no way. I'm like I'm examining things. They started off like making me see things in a way. Okay, oh, she's drinking coffee. See the hair color, like this. Like maybe trying to get me to think that it's not a child. But my brain was combative in a sense, like, no, I'm seeing her too much as a child. Let me put that in a folder. This is the folder I'll create a folder, resemble a child, then get light stimulations. Because, the stimulation weren't cranked up. But then I realized, oh, you just don't want to, you want me to start like perceiving her as an adult so you can create different, like thinking of her as an adult. How do I see her? These people, trash. And throughout the whole moment, I'm having reality check to put things in perspective. Then I get like text messages to try to like box in this way of thinking. It's like, this is crazy. I know you guys are going to have to manipulate me to think in these ways, to try to get me to look at a child in a different way. There are people outside yelling, no. And they were doing this, I was like literally saying, this person looks so much like I'm seeing more as a child, but okay, like it's like, yeah, like, no, man, that looks like a kid. No, and it doesn't even look like a teenage kid. It looks like a preteen kid. But this, it was just insane. So to all my target individual, you will get this. I think I've heard somebody call it seesawing, where they force you to have this back and forth to get you to stress out, right? For me, they're gonna always do that, where they want you to have this back and forth argument that they create the dialogues, because there's no need. I didn't need dialogues. I was like, this to me was a kid. Oh, but now start making you see maybe it's not a kid. Look at the drink she's drinking. We drink that kind of drink. It's too young maybe to drink that kind of like coffee like drinks, or tea like, or caffeine drink. And then you start looking at it, like, oh, okay. And then it's like, but you see the hair color, like maybe it's the lighting that's just kind of, and it becomes like this weird dialogues they start creating to make you start thinking that maybe it's not a kid. But you're like, no, this picture looks just too much. And they start to see the back and forth. This is why they do what they do. They're supposed to break you down. And as a target individual, you got to understand, their objective is to make you accept these disturbing things. And they're going to manipulate you. And what they're going to keep saying, they're going to rape you because this is proof. Listen, if somebody frames you, if somebody manipulates you, if somebody is doing all this noise campaigning, doing all these things, most likely they are not trying to prove anything, but just try to set you up or fabricate things. So whatever is going to happen, this is not people who are trying to analyze reality. They are trying to fabricate reality. So it's not people who are proving anything. It's people who are trying to fabricate things, if anything. But I don't even think they need to fabricate anything, because I think that they just try to also add anxiety and stress to you. Because everybody at this point is very much aware that this is what happens when you're in this program. You are manipulated in these ways to break you down, to make you lose your stuff, and to accept this persona they've created. And I'm not going with it. So obviously the next step is going to be torture of all sorts. And I understand this. Physical torture is going to be needed to make me accept these things. But even that's not going to make me subscribe to it. But I will have to deal with that. Till my last breath, I will never let them live their fantasy. So when they do this manipulation, this back and forth, I was like, okay, this is why they were doing this, because it's happening. And then I'm so thankful that, and I would recommend for all target individuals, do reality check. Talk to yourself. Record what you just said and see like what's happening to your brain, like in the way they make you think. Because I was saying that before, I was looking at what was happening. Reality check. So this is what happening. This is what is happening. I'm looking at this picture. It looks like a kid, but this time I'm starting to have some doubt now, and make me think. That's the first stage. Then they start making me think of this person more sexual. I was like, so what was happening is they wanted me to start looking at this kid in this as if it's an adult, so they can create perceptions that are sexual, and because it's an adult, I will be okay with letting that happen. And then they will bring back the fact, then start seeing them again as the kid that this picture looks like. This is what they do. It's so weird. This back and forth to stress you out. Because to me, this person looks definitely like a child in this picture. Now, let's just say she comes back and she's like, actually, that's me, just the camera. I was like, okay, but like if I looked at it normally, I looked at this picture as if it's a child. I would not be, because I couldn't and now you force him, you forcing me to look at all those pictures of her. That's the only picture I'm getting this perceptions now, sexual perception. Of course, it's them manipulating me like this. So, to all my target individual, understand the mind game is non-stop. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. They will force you to have this back and forth in these disturbing ways. So, don't subscribe to this. They are here to frame you, to manipulate you, to create false thoughts, and make you accept these pedophilia things and other disturbing things they do. And really would play according, have people in the street screaming and yelling and try to make you nervous. This is what they do. So be strong.